last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I am proud to introduce you to Tanveer Patel, a successful entrepreneur whose specialty is building something when there is nothing and taking it from concept to reality. What a fantastic mission and purpose. Tanveer, welcome. And I'd love to just start off by talking about your company, ConcertCare. What kinds of services does ConcertCare provide?
Thank you very much. ConcertCare is a custom software development company, and we specialize in partnering with customers to provide enterprise application development, app development. We also provide digital transformation and integration. And our goal really is with every partner to meet them where they need to be met. And whether they are a startup company, or who have a product and they are ready to go to market, or they are a growth company that is trying to disrupt the existing market, or it could be a company that is a very well established business, and they would like to use technology as an enabler to be efficient and help them with their business processes and efficiency. We always want our consultants to be part of the customers business, to really understand the impact that they are having and help them along the way.
Sounds like it's a very full service organization, and that's what you're going for. As an entrepreneur and a first generation immigrant, why don't you share some of the challenges that you've faced in starting your business?
Okay, so that's a very beautiful question. I must say that, but there are two parts to it. One is the immigrant perspective, and then the other is a general, which is anybody who would want to start their first business, right? So the challenge as an immigrant, which I faced, really was, it was a mindset, and it is something that it's an internal something that I was feeling. That I look different, I speak different, I'm in a new country, and my, will I be accepted, will I be able to succeed? So those are the things that I had going on with in my mind, and I think those are the issues that we face. It is a issue of perception, which I was fighting among myself, within myself, and once I could overcome it, and that's when the magic happened, really. So the second part of it is that network. Like when I come here to the United States, my family is all back in India. I don't know anybody here. It's just me and my husband, and we don't have any contacts, any relationship, anybody to call and say, hey, I know their family from such a long time. They would you do business with them? We didn't have any of that, and I had to build that network. So that was really my two biggest challenge as an immigrant. And in terms of the business, starting your first company, one of the challenge I would say is that, again, it is an internal challenge. It is a dichotomy which I was struggling with, and which is like, can I, I want to be, and then there's another part, am I ready? I'm not ready. So when you start your new business, that's something which because you've never done it before, and that's something which every entrepreneur struggles with. And so how do you bridge that gap? And that was my challenge internally, as a business owner first time. And then the other challenges were access to capital, which generally all businesses have, and your first project. Who is going to give you your first project? How do you get your first customer? That is by far the most hardest thing when you start your business. And then once you get the project, people have given you that project out of trust, and now you have to deliver. And when you deliver, you have to work with people, because you yourself cannot do it. You need a team and you need people, and you have to, as a leader, work with the people, inspire them, get things done. and then deliver the project. So there are a lot of unknowns. And the crux of it, I would say there's a lot of unknowns. And those unknowns are something you have to be comfortable with, because you don't know everything and you haven't figured out everything. So that
That makes
was my
complete
challenge.
sense. That makes absolutely complete sense. And I think you've given sort of a wonderful primer for young entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs to sort of follow and to know that these may be challenges. So you should have absolutely try and prepare for them. I can't tell you the number, Tanveer, of lectures that I've done for young people where I talked about how important it is for us to become involved in the STEM areas. I talk to young women about that all the time. So I ask you, as a woman in the male dominated field of software development, how have you made yourself stand out?
Okay, so the question I would like to ask a question to your question, and that's a question that we need to all think about. Why is it that men are dominating this industry? Where are the women, and why are the women not there? That's something we all need to think about. But to me, with my experience, understanding the personality of a software engineer is very important if you want to be in the software business and you want to lead in the IT team. And I was fortunate because my husband is a software engineer, so he, I could, so I was fortunate about that. So my advice is really to be around software people as much as you can. The other thing which helped me is that you need a seat at the table. So being a woman does not mean that you just want to hang around the women's group. It's okay. It's fine to have a women's group, but you got to sit at the table with the men and do your deals. Because if you're not at the table, then you cannot influence decisions, and the decisions are going to be made for you. And so while you're at the table, you also represent women and you have a voice of the women. The next thing which I helped me was speaking engagements. I did a lot of speaking engagement. And once you're out there and you're speaking, people get to know you and you build your credibility. And the third most important thing that I did that helped me was I was very involved with the tech community, and I also contributed. You doing things, you want to give back to the community as well. So helping build the ecosystem really helped me to be in there and everybody to see my work, and that was my opportunity to prove my work. And as long as I have been there, I can tell you from my experience all these years that men are not against women. In fact, my most supporters were men, starting from my father and my husband. And there were so many male mentors that we had. So I think that if you are outside of the software industry, then get to know software people, see how they think, how they process, what they are like, and then soon you become part of them. If you have a software engineering degree or background, it's more easier to be accepted. But whereas if you're not, then you really have to make that effort.
So again, very good pieces of advice. But speaking of the work, why don't you share with us some successful projects that you've actually handled in the past?
Absolutely. So I told you about the three stages of the company that we work with. So let me go through some beautiful stories that I have. One company, which was a startup company, there was a surgeon, general surgeon, who actually accidentally shot his arm, and he's a surgeon at its peak, making a lot of money and doing surgeries. Well, all of a sudden he doesn't have this one arm, and he while he was in the hospital, he thought about an idea about something that can solve problem in the surgery centers. And he needed obviously a technology partner, so he came to us and we worked with him and we built, that is something which is not existing, we built it, brought it to life. And he was able to raise money, he was able to have a good team of 40 employees, and exited to a really large company, Fortune 500 company. So that is a very beautiful story, that we were able to be part of the journey and we were there with him until the company exited. The second example I can give you is of a company that is a growth company, and there was an existing market, but they had two development company work with them, and their software was not the business was growing, but the technology limitations was not keeping up with the growth of the business. So we took that project, they came to us, and we helped him build an enterprise software product, and they have grown sixfolds. Then the other example I can give you is of another large company, and they couldn't find talent, they couldn't find the people. It was hard, it was, you know, the period where it was very difficult to get software engineers here in the United States. So they already had a team, but they had so much work and they had shortage of staff. So our team augmented them, and we were able to get speed to market because some of our team was in India, and they were able to work on it. We could get speed to market, and they have expanded, and now they have, you know, grown. We've grown our team with them.
That was, I mean, three very, very good examples. I wonder, do you see yourself as a role model for other women in the STEM fields? And again, everybody's always looking for the magic potion. What advice would you give to them outside of what you've already shared?
Sure, I would love to be the role model. I think for some of them, I've already inspired some people. So I just love that I'm able to be helpful with my stories and inspire everybody. But think about it, as an immigrant woman of color with an accent, Indian accent, with a headscarf, dressed differently, speak differently, no computer science degree, and not much experience in the software side when I first started my business. Here's something which I want to say: if I can do it, you can do it. So the that's within you, and if you have the passion and the drive to do it, you can do anything that you would want to do. What led to my success and some of the advice that I can give you is relationships and networks, and actually helping people without any expectations. My father taught me that business is all about helping people, and you should really help people, but don't lose yourself. Be sincere, be authentic, be yourself. And if you have to change something to do something, then you're doing something wrong. So be your own self.
Very smart. Very, very, very smart. I think in business, authenticity and integrity are two of the most important qualities that you must have. So which brings me, actually, what skills of yours have most contributed to your success? Whenever anybody asks me that question, I always say authenticity, integrity, and knowledge about the subject matter that I'm talking of. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. All the things that you mentioned are very important. But to me, with my personality and what I have is, this big skill I have is I'm a very good networker. And I can say that prosperity, and, I had many mentors, and my mentors have taught me that, how important relationships are for business. And prosperity comes from opportunities, right? Opportunities, how do they come? They come from relationships. And how are relationship built? They're built on trust. And trust is built on behavior, and behavior is built on character. So character builds destiny, and destiny is something that you can build your life on, and that all revolves around trust. And that's what actually leaders do.
I love it. Absolutely. If your customers, if your clients, if your members, if your employees, if your team does not trust you, I cannot see how you could ever be successful. Tanveer, what plans do you have for your company in the future?
We are very, very optimistic, and we are very open to our future. We intend to grow both organically and through merger and acquisitions. And organically, we grow through increasing our customer base. And, we are always open to merger and acquisitions. And so as part of our growth strategies, we are exploring opening offices in several countries. And, but if an opportunity presents itself, we are definitely open to an exit. And our ability to be agile and to respond to circumstances, that's what has given rise to our success.
Wow. I have to tell you, you've made such a very good case for success, especially in the STEM fields. What's the one thing you'd like the viewer of the video feature to walk away with today?
Believe in yourself. I cannot emphasize how important that is, because if I'm going to say this to a young person, to a young entrepreneur, believe in yourself, they will be wondering, like, okay, yeah, we know we are believing in yourself, but who, how, what, how? I mean, how do we do that? So if I have to break it down, I would say is that don't give up, be persistent, and don't be afraid to try new things. And you know what? Get comfortable with the unknown. There's going to be a lot of unknowns. You cannot know everything, but just go with the flow and figure it out and say that, okay, if this didn't happen, let me try this, but don't let somebody else define. When somebody tells you that they are this is not going to work, don't let other people define it for you. You have to go figure it out yourself. So believe in yourself and go out there and do it.
I love that so very much. I always say when preparation meets opportunity, there is nothing that we can't accomplish. And I think you are a living, breathing example of that. I wish you the very, very best with your company. I know with you at its helm, it is going to go many, many far places. Thank you again, Tanveer.
Thank you.